In the heart of Warsaw, there lived a man named Sam, known for his wealth and lavish lifestyle. He owned a sprawling mansion in the city's most prestigious neighborhood, had luxury cars parked in his driveway, and could afford anything his heart desired. Sam's business empire spanned across industries, and he was admired by many for his success. From the outside, his life appeared perfect. He had everything anyone could wish for. But deep inside, Sam was far from content. Despite having every material possession one could imagine, he carried a heavy burden. He was a relentless overthinker. His mind never rested. Day and night, he was consumed by thoughts of what ifs. What if his business failed? What if the people around him only cared about his money? What if his health deteriorated? The worries piled up like bricks, suffocating him under their weight. Every decision, no matter how small, felt overwhelming. Even while sitting in his grand dining room with a feast spread out before him, Sam would barely eat, lost in his spiraling thoughts. He could sit in the most luxurious resorts, surrounded by beauty, but his mind was always elsewhere, trapped in an invisible cage of fear and doubt. The vacations, the fine dining, the extravagant purchases, all felt meaningless. He had the world at his feet, but his own mind was his worst enemy. One evening, after another restless day, Sam sat on his plush leather couch, staring blankly at the skyline of Warsaw. The lights twinkled in the distance, but they brought him no joy. Exhausted, he ran his hands through his hair and whispered, "Why am I like this? Why is nothing ever enough?" Feeling completely lost, he decided to take a late-night walk through the city, hoping the fresh air would clear his mind. As he wandered through the quiet streets, he came across an old, dimly lit bookstore that he had never noticed before. It was quaint and tucked away between two larger buildings, almost as if it were hiding in plain sight. Drawn by an inexplicable urge, Sam entered the store. Inside, the walls were lined with shelves of old books, and there was a sense of stillness that immediately calmed him. The air smelled of aged paper and leather-bound volumes. At the counter sat a man, probably in his 70s, reading a book. He looked up as Sam entered, smiled warmly, and said, "Looking for something, son?" Sam hesitated for a moment. "I'm not sure," he replied honestly. "Maybe some peace of mind." The old man chuckled softly. "Ah, that's something many seek, but few truly find." He stood up and walked over to a nearby shelf. "I think I know what you need." He pulled out an old book with a faded cover and handed it to Sam. The title read, "The Quiet Mind." Intrigued, Sam took the book and sat down in one of the cozy chairs near the window. As he began to read, the words seemed to speak directly to him. The book told the story of a man who, much like Sam, had been consumed by overthinking. The man had wealth and success but was trapped by his own thoughts, never able to enjoy the present. However, through mindfulness and learning to let go, he had transformed his life. The key, the book explained, was to stop fighting the mind and instead learn to observe it. Overthinking wasn't the problem. It was the attachment to every thought that caused suffering. Sam couldn't stop reading. He stayed in the bookstore for hours, devouring page after page. The words resonated deeply within him, like they were unlocking something he had long forgotten. The idea that he didn't have to believe every thought, that he could simply observe them and let them pass, was revolutionary to him. When Sam finally left the bookstore, it was early morning. The sun was beginning to rise, casting a soft glow over the city. For the first time in a long time, Sam felt a sense of calm. He realized that all his wealth, all his material possessions, were meaningless if he couldn't find peace within himself. Over the next few weeks, Sam began to change his life. He practiced the lessons from the book, learning to quiet his mind. Whenever he felt the familiar rush of overthinking, he would stop, take a deep breath, and remind himself that not every thought needed his attention. He started meditating, spending time in nature, and reconnecting with the things that truly mattered: his relationships, his health, and his inner peace. Slowly, Sam began to feel lighter. He was no longer consumed by endless worry, and he found joy in the present moment. The luxurious things he owned no longer defined him. They became tools for comfort, not measures of his worth. Sam realized that true wealth wasn't in his bank account or in his possessions, it was in his ability to find peace within himself. And with that peace came a happiness he had never known before. The world outside hadn't changed, but Sam had. He had learned the most important lesson of his life: that calmness and contentment come from within. And once you find that, nothing else matters.